All right, you guys, Drake Riggs here at Dante's in Portland. A nice Thursday night, great show. And I'm joined by the headliners. They are...
Mannequins in Cages.
All right.
I'm John Venglass.
Yeah, he is.
I'm Siobhan Valette.
Jesse Recklon.
Benjamin Nelson.
There we go. There we go. Fantastic performance tonight, you guys. Headlining, like I said, good stuff, and I enjoyed it very much from the spectators' perspective. But I gotta ask you, as the performers doing the set, all that stuff, how'd you feel about it tonight? Were you pleased with your performances? I'm sure you're your own worst critics and all that, but how'd you feel about the night, Dante's Thursday? How was it for you?
For me, it felt really good. I think it was a great set. There was a good crowd. The stage here at Dante's is amazing, and the sound. The sound is great. Yeah.
It's nice to not be constantly hitting each other with our guitar heads. I mean, it's like you said, we are our own worst critics. No show is perfect. It's really easy to fall into the trap of just thinking, oh, I missed that note. I got that chord. That
the specifics,
was off.
Right.
It's really easy to nitpick over the details, but at the end of the day, I think that was a damn fine show.
Yeah, we were kicking ass. I always forget in a big room like that you get that reverb, and it's like a delay. You're playing and it's like boing.
Right.
It can be a little disorienting sometimes when we're used to playing in rooms the size of our closet.
Yeah, I feel like it probably changed our tempo. We're like, oh, we gotta get in rhythm with that boing.
So that's interesting then, though, you kind of saying that, right? Like, no show's perfect, really that's... It never should be, right? Ideally, you always want to continue to improve, but I'm curious, though, when you say that, then when you think of what makes a good show in your mind, what would you guys each kind of say stands out to you for what makes it kind of good for you as the performer?
I want to, for me, I want to feel in the moment. I want to be on stage, feeling the music, not just, repeating it in some sort of out of memory, right? I want to feel that energy within myself and from the band and from the crowd, right? That's what I look for.
I want to have sound checks. Dante's does sound checks for us, and that's makes
a good thing.
Huge difference. We play so many bars where there's no sound checks, and also for me as a performer, I want a good drum kit. We a lot of times here in Portland we're playing on tiny stages and we don't really have the room to backline 4 drum kits if we're playing with 4 bands, and I've played on some really nice drum kits that were for people twice the size of me, and I would have loved to have my own tiny piece of crap drum kit, and I've played on tiny piece of crap drum kits that sound like absolute shit.
Right.
I would have rather had the giant drum kit that didn't fit me. So I think today was awesome. Spectrum Static supplied the drum kit, and it was just my size.
That kit sounded great.
It sounded great,
yeah.
It sounded great. It was a really punchy kick, and I love having my kick drum mic. So, just and I think that goes along too with feeling in the moment, feeling a part of the music is when you can hear yourself and hear the whole band and have a monitor. It makes a huge difference.
Anything to add there on that note?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say for me, it's about the interaction between us on stage and the audience in the crowd is what it really comes down to for me. Are they feeling in the moment? If I look out in the crowd and I see somebody bopping their head to the music, or I see
energy, right?
I see somebody who's seen us a couple of times singing along with one of our songs. It's usually I just bought some knives, and it's usually Dee Dee. But the point is, if I just wanted to play the music 100% correct every time, I would just sit in my room and do it by myself. I wouldn't be getting on stage. And
without the criticism potential or things like that. Yeah, of course. All right. So then I got to ask you guys, how long has Mannequins been a band for? What's the timeline here in terms of how we got to this point?
They started before me. I joined in February of 2017.
I think we're going 8 years. 7
Okay.
or 8 years.
7. It's 7 since Jesse joined. 7 and change.
Okay, since Jesse.
Yeah.
We just began our 8th year.
Okay. All right. In total, and how's that been? Obviously, we've good
I gotta
show.
say, I was surprised we survived COVID. As a 4-piece, this is a lot of people with a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And one of the ththings I love about this band is we all have a different era of punk rock. We're all about 7 years apart. I'm not going to ask anyone to call out ages.
Well,
That's up to
without
you.
actually calling out ages, you're a lot closer to the mark than I think you realize.
Yeah. So I think that's amazing. I mean, people at different ages and places in their life, they're doing different things, but we all love the music.
Well, you can blend it a lot nicer that way, I think. Yeah.
We're all like this weird mix of like keep it simple, but like we all have this brainy prog rock brain.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't do that. It's weird.
Sounds like a good balance. So then, as for the origin of how Mannequins and Cages, very fascinating name. I love it. It makes you think, But how did it come to be? What's the story behind
Ben
it?
came up with that.
So my sister used to call me at like 3 a.m. Sorry, John, you don't deserve to have to
Ooh.
mic for everyone. But we're from Wisconsin originally,
Okay.
and she moved to Portland years and years before I did. And she used to call me in the middle of the night talking about school stress and stuff like that. But one of the things we would talk about is potential band names, and so she named my second band in Wisconsin called Astronaut Murder Plot.
That's
And
fun.
She designed the stickers and logos and sent me stickers, and
We
then
almost called Astronaut Murder.
it was such a good name, and we already had logos and everything. But unfortunately, I didn't want to reuse it. But right away, I can't remember, Jesse, if you were there for that or if we already decided it was Mannequins and Cages.
We actually decided on that even back before we started playing with
Like
Paul.
at the open mic nights, we talked
we wanted
about
to
it.
call our band with Paul Mannequins and Cages, but they
Yeah.
were like, no, let's call it this other thing instead.
Yeah.
So we already decided that you and I wanted to be in a band called Mannequins
So
and
we had been
Cages.
talking about that at
Wow.
a jam session that I ran.
Iambic triameter. Which is why we love it.
But yeah, so there was just a suggestion that my big sister Katie, one middle of the night, was like,
Just kind of randomly a
Yeah,
little
she's
bit.
like, I've had this idea in my back pocket forever. You should call it Mannequins and Cages. And I was like, yeah, I love that. I'm going to steal it. And that was years and years
image
before
of it,
we met.
The image
at
of like
all.
thinking of that is very.
Yeah.
AI comes up.
Oh, that's kind of where the mind goes, right? Like, it's very AI.
Our last album, we actually used AI art.
Yeah, the
for
cover of
We just
Memetic
entered
Emetic.
Mannequins and Cages into the prompt, and then we just went through a few iterations of that.
Some
and then made
horrifying
some
shit.
tweaks to it. Yeah, no, it's really weird. Like, AI is horrible. You see, like, hands going actually through the
Right.
bars,
I love the
and
extra
bars
hands that
going
you don't
through
see.
hands.
The fingers, all
Lots of
that
extra
stuff.
hands.
Yeah.
And we worked on that.
That's
Definitely
perfect.
lots of cool.
I'm so glad you guys thought of that.
imagery potential with that one.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I will admit we were just kind of crunched for time, and we figured
Yeah,
AI
we'll go
art
with
would be
this.
the fastest
Yeah,
way
they'll
to get
figure
an
it out,
album
yeah.
cover out.
Perfect. So, all right, you kind of hinted at it already about in terms of coming together with the inspirations, but what you all have taken from to get to Mannequins, right? What are some of your favorites that influenced you to play your styles and that kind of stuff? What have you guys taken from, would you say?
So for me, I've got a lot of influence from like Southern California punk rock, right? No Effects, Bad Religion, Pennywise, No Use for a Name, a lot of his like strumming style and rhythmic patterns. I bring a lot of that into my writing. And then I like Black Sabbath and like that kind of metal era through the 80s and 90s. I really listened to a lot of that. So, I mean, those are kind of some of my influences.
Yeah, this is gonna sound very wrong if you actually just heard what we played, but a couple of my biggest influences for this project are actually Jimmy Eat World
Okay.
and the Gin Blossoms.
I wouldn't have
like-
expected that.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that because we're playing a very different genre from either of the two bands I just mentioned, sort of. Jimmy Eat World is a little bit closer to what
Yeah,
we're doing
yeah.
just in terms of like energy level, but something about the way that the lead guitarists in both of those bands like structure their solos and their lead lines was just really influential to me when I was first learning guitar, however many fucking years ago that was now. And it's funny because I don't even listen to those two bands that much
Okay,
anymore.
okay.
But yeah, those really are some of my biggest influences.
Very nice.
Ben, I don't think it's fair to make you go last.
Throw them out, us, Ben.
This is why we do so well together, because we're always thinking about
cohesive
each other.
unit,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Got more to say.
I don't know about my influences, to be honest. I think that I listened as well to No Effects But before I started drumming for Mannequins and Cages, I wasn't a drummer, and I mostly played acoustic guitar at the open mic or open jam, and it was Elliott Smith covers
Okay,
and some
nice.
old Crow Medicine Show.
Against Me. You're
And
playing a lot
yeah, we
Against
played.
Me
Yeah, I
covers
played
back then.
like Cavalier Eternal. I was playing that one all the time, and
I love it when you play that song.
and yeah, I tried to scream my heart out when we were up on open mic nights, and actually seeing Shaban do one of their like folk songs on acoustic guitar.
Okay.
I think maybe they were having a bad night.
Was that when I was still playing the folk punk version of Double Whiskey Heart Attack as a
Yeah,
solo?
yeah, I think that's how
Yeah.
it went, and you were not in a good mood, and you screamed it, and I was like, we got to start a punk rock band. And
This is the moment.
yeah, I went out and
Really
I.
is the defining moment.
Yeah,
That's one day
that
when
was
I
it.
started
I was like,
Wow.
we're gonna do this,
Awesome.
and I went and I got a Ludwig drum kit from Trade Up Music that I ended up hating that drum kit, but I've been through a lot of drum kits
You have
since
some
then.
contentious relationships with drum kits.
Yeah, I
suppose
either
most
love
drummers
them,
do.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I either love them or I hate them. But yeah, as far as drumming goes, it's definitely being impressed with the drummer from NoFX, knowing that they don't use a double kick pedal and they're doing all of their double foot work with just their right foot, and knowing that they're still playing at like 530 beats per minute. And I just love NoFX and try as much as I can to just play fast, I guess. Just working my leg up for that speed.
Okay.
you go, Jesse.
All right, we'll leave the best for last, though.
I don't got much. I'm very influenced by this band. They've all taught me a lot about punk rock, and I think mostly I've tried to, with my own brain, translate what they're playing into what I should learn, and I've gone Fugazi and Sunny Day Real Estate, and I already love Jimmy Eat World, so yeah.
It's hard not to. Hard not to.
There's actually one more thing that I'd like to touch on here, because while we all bring our own influences to the band, something that we've like kind of made a point of doing is when we are about to record, we like to kind of pass around a collection of songs to each other that have kind of the production quality or the production style that we're aiming for, so that we can just kind of orient around that. What was it that we were kind of really like putting up on our pedestal for this last album? Do you remember,
I feel
Jesse?
like it was Fugazi because
It was Repeater, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I would throw a Pixies song out there, but due to modern technology, like those songs don't sound good.
They don't
anymore.
translate.
Yeah, they're so quiet.
Right.
Yeah, I would have done Debaser, but yeah, sure, Repeater.
So I kind of love that you mentioned that, though, because I love the versatility in kind of the singing you guys bring, where everyone's kind of involved. Like, is that intentional or just kind of happened? Like,
It wasn't really our
I pushed
plan.
yeah, you wanted to.
Okay, it was intentional from Jesse. I definitely saw it as more of just we all were bringing songs that we were writing to the group, and just made sense for us to
Right
sing
here
our
is
own
something I can
songs.
sing harmony with. I will.
Hell
And,
yeah.
if I do, sometimes other people will jump in.
Yeah, we love to throw a lot of harmonies.
I mean, you and John harmonize
I
amazingly.
love harmony singing.
I definitely had the
I'm living
intention
for it.
of wanting to drum and scream at the same time,
Yeah.
but it ended up being a lot harder than
Difficult,
I
yeah.
intended, so I'm not
You
singing
have
as
the
much as I would
highest-
like to.
You're the Mike Love of this band.
Oh, amazing. So then, of course, I want to ask you guys about, has there been a craziest live experience or show that stands out, some kind of thing, whether it's, separate or all together?
I have not
experiences.
gotten so drunk that I fell off stage yet, but I think that's what we're all
Working towards it.
Did you take your shirt off this show?
No, I didn't.
You left
Yeah,
your
kept
fucking
it
shirt
on.
God damn it, Jesse. What
The
are we
summer
paying-
comes
what are we
around
paying
and-
Yeah,
for?
yeah. Once it's warmer.
Pop it off, bad boy.
All right.
He's like, I'm going to do it right now. Let's go.
All right.
Yes, Bart.
I feel responsible for this.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
I didn't get it this time. I thought that it was actually kind of cool on stage compared to
Yeah,
how
it was.
hot it
Yeah,
normally is when we
the,
play.
Yeah.
the
There's the
ambient
rhythm section
temperature
that's
of the
needed.
room doesn't go up as high with the bodies in the room when it's a bigger room.
Yeah.
Ah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're really pushing forward towards get naked on stage. The whole Socks on your genitals.
Yeah, Jesse really wants to be the chili.
Yeah.
Okay,
He said earlier he wants to start
there
a
are
Chili Peppers cover
there are
band.
complications with that.
Stockings. A wrap.
I'm just bitter because prior to a year and a half ago, I could be joining Jesse and Ben in taking their shirts off on stage, and now it's frowned upon.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I know.
Yeah.
it's
Get a baby.
it's
Do some
dumb.
breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Come on, yeah.
Right.
Loopholes,
Well,
right?
We need to get some extra hormones in there if we want to actually make the breastfeeding thing work. Okay, let's move on to another.
Let's move on. Well, okay, I don't want to end on that note. So before
Please.
we end, I think this is a great question for, other bands who will maybe be interested in you guys checking you out or whatnot, but aspiring musicians, all that. Best piece of advice you would give somebody or a band wanting to start out, like just getting into it. What is something that comes to mind there?
My best piece of advice I can give anybody about anything, actually, is to take that old chestnut, anything worth doing is worth doing right, and throw it in the garbage. Anything worth doing is worth doing wrong, it's worth doing badly, it's worth sucking at for a little while or forever. If it's worth doing it, then perfection shouldn't be your goal. Doing it should be the goal. Nothing that's worth doing is only worth doing it if it's perfect. So just get out there and play. If you don't know how to play guitar, who cares? Buy one and jam along to your favorite tracks. You'll figure it out. It's actually not that hard, trust me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I got nothing to say, but yeah, be yourself.
There we go.
Yeah, be yourself and don't give up, right? Just keep going, keep trying, and no matter if you fail or not, it doesn't matter, right? What's important is getting out there and making some music, meeting some of these other musicians, right? Enjoying a great
Just a marketing term.
live scene.
Getting controversial.
I'd say for the drummers out there, I highly recommend that you take your drum kit apart and put it back together.
Okay.
I know it's ridiculous.
Actual advice.
Actual advice, like if you want to be a drummer, you need to actually spend time making your drum kit sound good, because you can take a $200 drum kit, and if you put new drum heads on it and you learn how to tune your drums well, you don't need duct tape, you don't need moon gel.
Right.
You just learn how to tune your drums right, and you can make any piece of crap drum sound like it's not a piece of crap drum. And then if you go a step further, you can buy new parts for your rusted out, broken parts, and you can polish them up, and you can make your drum kit last you a lot longer than it otherwise would have, and be worth playing, and maybe even to share with me on stage someday.
There
so
you
I don't
go.
have to play a
There
piece
you
of shit
go.
drum kit.
I think that was a perfect balance of advice, you guys. I think that was very well done. Bravo to y'all. All right, on that note, we will wrap it up then. But, of course, got to get the plugs out of the way. So anything you want to let the people know about in terms of shows coming up, new songs, or where they can find you, all that stuff?
Downtown Portland is revitalizing itself, and I'm looking forward to more shows downtown and perhaps a festival.
Eh?
Okay, but in terms of actual
Specifics to
things,
Mannequins.
we have another show coming up right here at Dante's on May 30th,
Okay.
which is also a Thursday, I think. This is a Thursday, right, Ben?
Check the calendar.
You scheduled it.
Let me see. I'll find out for you guys.
I'm pretty sure it's a Thursday.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
No, I
Nailed
nailed it. So yeah, we're back here at Dante's in just over a month. And we are not releasing anything in the near future, but we are getting back in the recording studio this summer.
Yes.
We played a couple of new songs.
4 songs.
Yeah, we got 4 total. We played 2 of them tonight, but we got 4 that we're going to record in July. So.
Yeah, so once we get that new recording up, right, we're going to put those out everywhere you can stream, and on Bandcamp, of course. So our album right now is out, Mimetic and Medic, and that's out on Bandcamp. You can get out there and pick it up, or you can
we say it a
stream
little
it wherever.
slower? Mimetic, emetic.
Really pronounce it.
Mimetic,
Pronunciation.
emetic. We're all nerds. It's really like secret.
Mimetic, Emetic. Yeah.
Perfect.
And eventually we'll backlog our first album, Waiting for the Weather to Change. We'll get
Yeah,
it on there as well.
that's going to get up this year sometime.
That's
It-
still on
We hate
Bandcamp.
Donald
though.
Trump.
It is on
so much.
Bandcamp.
Yeah,
We're
it's
gonna
not-
put
Yeah.
several
YouTube
songs,
stuff.
probably an EP like Donald Trump. Like,
We could probably scrape together one, yeah.
I mean, if we
Take
just
it down.
wanted to take like everything that fell on the cutting room floor and just
Throw it out there.
throw that
no,
onto
we should
an
write
album,
new
we
songs
could.
about how. Yeah. I don't know why I've done this to myself.
But in addition to Bandcamp, we're on Spotify, Apple Music, basically every major streaming platform. So if paying $7 to download an album ain't your thing, feel free to hop on Spotify. The numbers do mean a lot to us.
Add us to your TikTok.
There you
And
go.
Instagram and Facebook.
Are we
yeah,
TikTokable?
We're out there.
Okay,
We
so
are
we're
TikTokable.
TikTokable.
Only if
TikTok.
it's a pig loving a cat or a horse.
I just don't think we have a lot of content out there yet. I think we do
I put
have
that
some
in
sort
there.
of-
You could only add that song. Cross animal love.
On
Only-
all social platforms.
Not on all. Just
Yeah,
None
most
of
of
us know what he's talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
either. just
That was a
clear.
random tidbit, but all right, Mannequins and Cages. Appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you, Drake.
Fantastic show tonight.
Drake.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thank you.